Mas okay na ito. Okay, anyway. Inaayos ko nga yung lighting and all eh. Inaayos ko pa. Anyways, guys. Um, Yun lang. I mean, among other things na na-appreciate ko rin sa Japan kasi guys is yung fact na kahit nag-super modernize sila na bansa, na-preserve din nila yung mga ibang traditions nila. Pero of course, dahil progressive tayo, I have some issues with their, still yung patriarchal structure ng society nila, ang baba nung participation ng women in workforce nila. But things are moving. Things are moving. And that's the thing with Japan eh. Kung kailan akala mo, wala nang Japan, nag-stagnate na, napag-iwanan na ng Korea and China, ganun. Bigla sila mag-the-next level. At ngayon, nag-next level ng Japan dahil lahat ng mga semiconductor companies, including yung TSMC ng Taiwan, lahat naglalagay ng malalaking investments dyan sa Japan. Because the thing with Japan is, ang lakas ng foundations nila eh. Yung infrastructure nila is impeccable, public infrastructure nila is really good. Yung workforce nila, although shrinking population nila, highly educated, highly motivated, very, very organized, well-worked. Yung estado nila, maayos. I mean, of course, it's not perfect. Yung politika din ng Japan ay medyo sakit sa ulo. But in terms of yung kanilang bureaucracia, dahil bumisita tayo sa mga ministries din nila nung isang buwan, di ba? Nakausap natin yung Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, among others. Maayos yung fondasyon. Kaya the moment na nagkaroon ng strategic decision ng Japan na i-double down nila, guys, yung kanilang semiconductor industry and all, boom! Pasok lahat. At yung mga iba naman na nagfa-follow up na medyo more in the loop, hindi naman Bitcoin lang, yung mga in the loop rin sa ibang bagay katulad ng stock markets. Alam niyo na just recently Japan broke its all-time high record. Of course, back in the 70s and 80s, Japan was like the center of the universe. So now, grabe yung stock market nila. So there's a lot of confidence, there's a lot of focus on rebuilding their technological foundation. So believe ako sa Japan. I mean, iba talaga the way they have combined many things. But as I said, those things didn't come easy. No? Japan went through very, very traumatic experiences. Kaya bumisita ako ulit dun sa mga kanilang palasyo, dun sa Nagoya, dun sa palasyo nila sa Kyoto. At of course, yung kasaysayan nila, guys. Alam niyo naman, Japan, di ba? Grabe yung dinaanan nila kasi nag-civil war sila, patayan sila ng big time nung time ng after visit ni Commodore Perry ng United States kasi ayaw nila magbukas eh. Gusto nila isolated sila. This is under Tokugawa era and then nagkaroon ng split between the shogunate and emperor, nagpatayan, civil war, ganun. And actually, I got to see and I got to know sino ba talaga yung totoong last samurai. Hindi pala isang Hollywood actor na itago natin sa pangalan ng Tom Cruise. Actually, totoong Japanese na shogun supporter siya ng guy na sobrang galing na samurai but natalo sila sa emperor. So eventually, they had to accept modernization. So Japan went through very traumatic experiences before becoming a traumatizing power itself in the Second World War. But we know that over the past 67 years, medyo grabe din yung transformation of Japan. But as I said, siguro kailangan ko gumawa ng mga hindi lang travel vlogs type yung medyo historical, political analysis vlogs type na kasama yung mga travels and all. Kasi I think all of those things have to be interspersed. Kasi when I go to like an imperial palace, I just don't go there to pakit lang or get nice pictures. I'm trying to absorb the energy, I'm trying to absorb the history, the pains, the traumas, the triumphs, the redemption, lahat ng mga yan. And of course, pagdating sa Japan, I'm also paying good name sound. I'm paying also a big attention in terms of their ability to come back from behind. Kasi they fell behind in the 1990s all the way to 2000s. They used to be number 2 economy, then they lost that position to China in 2009, then now they lost their position to Germany in 2024. So number 4 na lang sila from number 2, almost magda number 1 na nga sila nun. Binuli pa sila ng Japan, ng US, Reagan administration para kasi natakot ng US sa Japan talagang grabe yung economy nila yung 70s and 80s. So nung nag-burst yung bubble economy but now they're coming back and let's see where Japan is heading. Very, very interesting. Isa pang napansin ko actually sa Japan, guys, is may mga kotse dyan na mga Toyota na hindi ko nakikita sa Pilipinas. Isa sa paborito ko talaga dyan is yung Harrier. Meron silang kotse na Harrier. Sobrang kamukha niya yung Lexus. But it's a Toyota. It's not a Lexus, right? I mean, of course, it's the same company. But I suppose it's a far, far more affordable version. Yun lang, pangalan niya Harrier. Medyo parang sana naman, bilang balang araw, pag nag-all electric sila, kasi hindi pa fully electric ang Japan eh. Konti lang yung mga Tesla, konti lang yung mga fully electric, purong hybrid. But let's see, Nissan and Honda also teamed up. May announcement sila kanina na magti-team up sila to make electric vehicles. So, Japan, alam niyo na this. But let me tell you one thing before I go back to the Philippines. Every time na I said Filipina tayo, ang ganda ng reception. And of course, shout out also sa Sir Johnny, dyan sa Osaka. Ganda ng restaurant niya, Sir John. Malapit dun sa parang Times Square area nila dyan sa Osaka. Half Pinoy din si Kuya. Great. CR pa lang nila, ang ganda-ganda na. Diyan mga pictures ng mga lahat ng mga icons of culture and all. Iba talagang Japan, guys. Iba-iba. So shout out din sa mga half Pinoy dyan, mga kabayan natin. At saka mga Hapon na doon, nagsasalamat sila. They were very friendly. And I'll tell you guys another thing. Ang napansin ko, dumadami na rin yung mga turistang galing sa mga bansa na dati source lang ng overseas workers. So, ang dami ko nakitang turista, Indonesia, turista, Philippines of course, Thailand, yung mga ganon. So, dito makikita mo guys, umiiba ng mundo eh. It's not like before na ang turista lang mga Hapon or later on mga Koreans. Hindi, ngayon, ang dami rin turista guys na galing sa Pilipinas, sa Indonesia, sa Thailand. So nakikita mo yung middle class natin, lumalaki na at umangat na. At nakikita mo na tumataas din ang respeto ng mga Hapon sa atin, mga taga-ASEAN and Southeast Asia. Kasi alam na nila na medyo medyo may masabi na tayo, di ba? Medyo tayo na yung turista ngayon. Tayo na yung tayong ina-attract nila ngayon, di ba? For their so hindi lang mga puti, hindi lang mga Europeo, hindi lang usual suspects. So you'll see a lot of Chinese, a lot of Thai, a lot of Filipinos, a lot of Indonesians. Not as much yet, but in Europe and US napansin ko marami rin Indians, yung mga middle class Indians. Na marami rin mayaman sa India at saka middle class. So things are changing, guys. Things are changing very fast. Ayan, meron tayong live comment na kakatapos lang yung kabilang channel. Lilipat na kayo dito. Ayan talaga yan. Actually, nakita ko kanina sa Twitter pagbukas ko. Mukhang si Sir Sunny ang kausap, no? Dun sa kabilang channel. Sige, arrange din natin with si Sir Sunny. Dami din natin mga chismisin dyan. Marami tayong mga tayo dyan. Mekos natin, politika natin. Okay. Text ko nga si Sir Sunny. Okay, mamaya. Marami tayong pag-usapan. So lipat na kayo. Tapos na yung sa kabilang channel. Dito na kayo dito. Mukhang late na rin nagsimula yung kabilang channels eh. Nag-late na tayo, nagtatapatan na tayo. Okay. Ito, okay. So, as lumilipat na kayo sa channel na ito, tapos yung kabila. Pag-usapan na natin ito, guys. Yan, okay. Si Sir Ivan, boom. Nag-present ka agad. Kakatapos mo lang Sir Ivan yata sa kabilang channel, sabi ni Sir Ivan, arrest na daw tomorrow kay Kibbs. Who is excited? Grabe naman kayo, guys. Wag naman ganon. Pagbigyan, the wheels of justice may turn slower than usual, but they may eventually turn, di ba? Mga ganyan. Let's see, guys. So before the end of this week, hopefully magkaroon ng some sort of clarity. Ano bang mangyari dito? Ayan, pumapasok na yung mga estudyante. Sige lang, pasok kayo dyan. Ganon na ganon kami sa totoong buhay, ha? Kung maaga ka, wala pa yung mga estudyante, di ka ginaganahan. Parang nakakatamad naman mag-lecture, wala pa yun. Pero sige lang, dahil professional tayo, Japanese work ethic, go lang tayo. Sige, lecture. Yan, lumilipat ng mga estudyante. Habang dumadami yung estudyante, yan, nai-excite na tayo. Okay. Ayan, lipat na kayo. Bilisan nyo. Ito. So, obviously, I was also checking on schedule ni BBM kasi Czech Republic na siya. Nasa Prague na siya ngayon. So, I wanna also check, yes, nagtuturo ako graduate school lang ngayon. Kasi, to be honest, guys, undergraduate teaching is fantastic and all of that. At the same time, I'm overstretched with commitments and all. So, graduate school kasi, mas na-appreciate ko in a sense na pasok siya dun sa, yung commitment levels ko. At saka minsan, yung mga estudyante sa graduate school, ganda kasi professionals na rin sila, marami silang alam. Ikaw pa yung estudyante nila minsan, di ba? When you talk about government issues, policy issues. So yeah, medyo graduate school lang tinuturo ko ngayon. Anyway, yeah, ganun yung college days, di ba? Salita lang konti yung teacher, konti sulat-sulat sa board. Habang pumapasok ng mga estudyante, hintayin niyan dumadami mga estudyante. Ayan. And then boom, let's go. Pasensya na dun sa mga on-time na estudyante. Of course, kayo naman, mataas na yung grade nyo eh. pagbigyan nyo naman yung rest of the class. Yeah, yun din ang challenge na how do you make sure you're also fair dun sa mga parating, andun na, mas maaga pa sa teacher, nandun na kaagad, di ba? Oh, di ba? Alam na this. Anong alam niyo na this? Okay. Anong school? UP lang naman tayo. UP. Okay. Ito. So, I was checking on BBM. Kamustang, hanash niya. Ano mga ginagawa niya. At of course, katulad ng sinabi natin kanina, kahapon hanggang 12 midnight, meron tayong interview sa Deutsche Welle sa Germany. So, we were talking to folks back in Germany. As you know, President Marcos Jr. has made an announcement dito, ukol dito sa issue ng ICC. In the context of the German Chancellor Scholz raising the ICC issue, right? As you know, of course, Germany sees itself as an international. It sees itself as well. It doesn't see itself. It is a kind of a leader in the European Union, but it sees also itself as a champion of human rights and international justice, international humanitarian law and justice. So there was a conversation between Scholz, the German Chancellor, and President Marcos Jr. on the ICC issue. Well, we don't know exactly what was said behind the scenes. I'll try to marites that myself. Tanong din tayo sa Berlin, tanong din tayo mga contacts natin. But what I appreciated, guys, dun sa conversation ni German Chancellor Scholz and Marcos was the fact that President Marcos made it very clear, pagdating sa laban sa pinagbawal ng droga, hindi pwede yung lang, bara-bara. Hindi pwede yung, well, he put it nice, BBM being, again, conflict of, he said, hindi pwede purong enforcement lang. Meaning yung marahas na paraan. Diba? Dapat, and he said, dapat more focus doon sa preventive and rehabilitory measures. So that's good. That's good. Dapat ganun na approach. So at least there's some openness to cooperation with their European partners, fellow democracies. Now, when it comes to dealing with the problem of drugs and criminality, hindi pwede banat-banat. Hindi pwede bara-bara. At dapat more public health policy ang approach mo. So in that sense, BBM is essentially saying what Lenny and many in the opposition have been saying for quite some time now. You have to treat the drug problem as a public health crisis. It is a crisis, but the approach is very important, right? The approach is very important. So that's good thing. Again, as you know, also there were discussions on West Philippine Sea, and Germany has already been training the Philippines, although quietly, on the military front for quite some time. Pero ang sense ko after this, hindi na sila maging quiet, maging more open ito. And as you know, German companies are among the best in terms of electronics, electronic warfare, tanks production. So, ang daming areas kung saan pwede tumulan ng Japan. Germany. Well, Japan too, obviously, but Germany too. Bosch, one of the biggest company in Germany, is also expected to look at some major projects with Philippine government. Pero ako, guys, isa sa pinaka-exciting sa akin talaga is yung possibility na Germany will also be involved, guys, sa isa sa mga airport projects natin. I think airport natin sa Bulacan, I think there's a German and a Korean company involved there, right? I mean, I love Korea and all of that, but iba pa rin pag Germany, no offense. I mean, they're established talaga yung mga Germans when it comes to a lot of key industries and all. So, I'm expecting a lot. And then, tinitingnan ko rin, of course, anong lalabas dito sa Czech Republic, bisita ni BBM, because Czech Republic, as I said, is a big country when it comes to, Skoda and car manufacturing and all. The Philippines had a decent growth in car manufacturing output over the past month. Lakas tong kape na to kung ano na information na dumadaan sa utak ko. No, but I think we had more than 21% increase in car production. I think around 25% increase in car production earlier this year from January to February. So we want to build more and more cars, hopefully in the Philippines, not only Japanese cars, hopefully European cars too, right? Because yung mga kapitbahay natin katulad ng Malaysia. So if you buy German cars, Benz, or particular BMW, most likely na-assemble yan sa Malaysia bago pumasok sa Pilipinas. So a lot of our neighbors, especially Malaysia, they're playing a very important role in terms of distribution and assembly of high-end European cars. Thailand is already a car manufacturing superpower. They're like the little Japan or Detroit of Asia. Indonesia and Vietnam are getting into it. As you know, Vietnam, VinFast, well, their stocks is not doing very well from around $80, $5 na lang yan. But still, outside China and Tesla, etc., they're essentially the other alternative. And let's see with Vietnam where they're going. So sana naman ang Pilipinas also moves forward. So I think Czech Republic could be an interesting case. Because hindi ganun kalaki ang Czech Republic, medyo maliit yung economy nila, I think far smaller than the Philippines. And I'm sure that they're looking also for international markets and all. Baka pwede tayong mag-tie up sa kanila, pero joint production. And hopefully, more electric. Hopefully, hindi lang purong kotse. Hopefully, bus. Diba? Hopefully, tren. Yung mga ganun, diba? More public infrastructure development and agricultural development. Now, as you know, medyo ano rin ako sa sa buhay ng mga ilustrados natin. You know that one of the most amazing times that Rizal had in Europe was actually in Czech Republic, right? Back in the day, I think it was Bohemia or Czechoslovakia or whatever. It was Bohemia back then, right? So Czech Republic also has a fantastic history of really great authors, thinkers. Among the best German-speaking thinkers were there in the late 19th century when Rizal was there. So it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. It's a great place. Beautiful people, great people. And let's see what President BBM is going to come out with. Now, speaking of President BBM, interestingly, as President BBM tries to present himself as a very hardworking, proactive, internationally, respected and all. I mean, as I said, I know maraming mga loyalists na kinu-quote na nila ako, but I'll be honest, like from DC to Tokyo to I don't know wherever I go, parang they're gaga over, or even Australia, like they're like gaga over BBM. Like, oh, he's like, and I would say like, no, BBM is not doing anything special. He's just doing the right thing, which started before Duterte. Except dahil naunang Duterte sa kanya, parang he looks so good. Ano naman juxtaposition, di ba? In comparison to Duterte, he looks like a super statesman. But a lot of things he's saying is just common sense. These are the things you expect from any decent, self-respecting Filipino president, right? For that matter, and God bless his soul, Aquino back in the day also took up the causes for the Philippines when it comes to the issue of West Philippines. So a lot of things that BBM is saying is like common sense, diba? Now, Digong being Digong, ayan naman, pumanat na naman yata si Duterte kanina, medyo may ban, I mean, you see what this guy is doing, right? Grabe talaga si Duterte, diba? Like, like, every other week, parang binubuli-buli lang niya, diba? Pasyal ng pasyal. Oh, yan ang sinabi ni Digong. Alright? Pasyal ng pasyal. Grabe na. Imagine guys, yung naging presidente ka, tapos ginaganyan-ganyan ka lang yung ex-president. Di ba usually, sa kultura natin, pag ex-president ka na, tahimik ka na, di ba? Zip it, di ba? Parang yun ang idea, zip it. Okay, keep it yourself. Private citizen ka na. Pero ito talagang hindi. Talagang Karen eh. Sobrang Karen. Every other week, babanatan na naman niya si BBM. Now, okay, let me be very clear. Definitely, BBM is not beyond reproach. There are many issues you can raise with BBM. My stance on the BBM pasyal issue, before I go to Digong himself, is this, diba? Is I see the value of him going all around the world and trying to rally support or whatever, or try to bring in investments. I get it. Except I have to still see the evidence. I have to still see the evidence that actually him being there and talking to the business people is convincing enough for them to overlook a lot of structural limitations sa Pilipinas. Horrible investment environment, horrible corruption problems. So ang akin lang sana, hindi lang purong speech lang. I hope the president comes back home and then fixes the problem. No, hindi lang yung sasabihin niya ang ganda ng Pilipinas, tapos babalik sa Pilipinas, walang gagawin. So, obviously, foreign companies have issues with corruption. Foreign companies have issues with regulatory and red tape issues. Foreign companies have issues with bad infrastructure, as we mentioned. Electricity, utility costs are very high. So hopefully, BBM does something concrete about these things, right? Hindi yung pupunta lang abroad, schmoozing and again, hindi naman let's be honest, hindi naman ututo yung mga foreign investors eh. Hindi sila naging bilyonaryo kung ututo lang sila na sa isang speech lang na maganda, madadala sila. Assuming maganda pa yung speech, di ba? Right? And someone asked, do they even trust the word of Ferdinand Marcos, di ba? I mean, let's be honest about it. So I'm not against BBM going abroad. I'm just saying, hindi pwede hanggang dyan lang. It has to be backed by actual reforms, structural reforms back in the Philippines. And as I always say, mga kameta, it has to be also backed by strategy, industrial policy, an effective trade and industrial policy. Isa sa mga pinaka frustrating sa akin is, I go to the US, they talk about industrial policy. I go to Japan, they talk about industrial policy. Germany, they are already the hub of industrial. They're like one of the inventors of industrial policy, right? Since the Bismarck era, as a late industrializing countries. Sa Pilipinas, halos there's no conversation about industrial policy. Please name me, may kinuha pang economic czar si BBM. Ano yung stance niya sa industrial policy? In terms of building our steel industry, in terms of building our manufacturing capacity, in terms of making sure we're competitive and get into the higher end production of, or at least move up the value chain sa semiconductor production. Wala akong narinig eh. The level of discussion is very shallow. It's all about macro-prudential policies, ganyan, which is okay. I mean, that's good, but that's super basement lang yun eh. Iangat naman natin ng konti. So, I'm not sure jeepney modernization is industrial policy. It's more like public transportation modernization. Medyo iba yun, guys. But when I talk about industrial policy, yung may long-term 5 to 10 year plan ka, bring investment, technology transfer, build your steel industry, build the whole value chain. So please, guys, yung mga hindi masyadong familiar sa industrial policy, dalawa lang suggestion ko. You can check it online, what is industrial policy a little bit, but I really suggest you guys, please check my discussions with good friends of ours, with economists, political economists, sociologists, political scientists. Just go on my podcast, Spotify, or on Google, or whatever. You should put Hey Darian Industrial Policy. You can see my writings, you can see my analysis about these issues. I made them simple, right? So hindi ko masyadong ginawang technical na economies na with formulas and all. Ginawa ko very simple. So please you check that. So that's number one issue I have with BBM's travel schedule. I'm all good with you making state visits to many countries dahil kailangan mong damage control from all Duterte years. Okay, great. But hindi pwede hanggang speech lang abroad at shmuz lang. It has to be backed by significant reforms at home. Because I know for a fact, hindi ututo yung mga top-level investors. Alright? Hindi sila ututo. Hindi sila nadala sa mga nice dinner, nice meeting lang. They're gonna look at actual conditions on the ground. And guess who are the political experts and analysts? And, people they're gonna ask people like me. They're gonna ask people like Ronald Llamas, right? They're gonna ask independent experts. Or people who are not fans of BBM or whatever, right? To give an objective analysis. And this is what I'm saying. You have to back it up with proper reforms at home. So I need to see more effort by this government on industrial policy, on infrastructure development. Actually, sa infrastructure, interestingly, I think advertised ang administration nito because some good things are happening like the subway projects, etc. But nevertheless, I want to see more. Yeah, tama sinasabi ni Michael. Grid issue, utility issue, water issue. Ang daming mga basic guys. Pinaka-basic, wala. Sobrang kulang. Hawak ng mga oligarchs ng mga key infrastructure natin and all. What is BBM gonna do about that? Right? What is BBM gonna do about that? So, yun ang isang issue ko. But my number 2 issue, and this is my transition perfectly into Digong, is this. Diba? In a nutshell, in a normal political setup, okay lang na travel isang presidente to a certain degree if it really is bringing in investments and improving our relations with other countries or expanding our strategic ties with other countries. Gets ko yan. But we're not in a normal situation, guys. As we speak, the Vice President of the Republic, we just mentioned this the other day ago, squarely stood behind a person who's wanted on the FBI list, someone who's facing an arrest warrant or at least an arrest or maybe even arrest soon by both the lower house and the Senate. Someone who the DOJ is investigating for all sorts of very serious crimes. And this person happens to be very, very close also to the ex-president. Now, speaking of the ex-president, you have an ex-president who's directly challenging the legitimacy and the authority of his successor. How many times, like, feeling ko minsan si Digong, ganyan siya, parang, medyo parang anong tao. medyo ano na to, medyo, baba ba tayo? Ngayon. Si Digong minsan isip ko, ano ba kayang kailangan kong gawin para maano na talaga itong isang, mapikon na talaga itong isang to? Kasi nakikita mo guys, si BBM mabait masyado sa kay ano. Hindi ko sinasabi na mabait siya per se. Okay? I still have serious concerns with Marcoses, their background, etc. But when you see someone openly challenging you, not once, not twice, but consistently, even before naging presidente ka, even before tumakbo siyang presidente, sinasabi na weak leader ka, sinasabi na, alam niyo na, you're not gonna allow that to just keep on going like that without any, you know what I'm saying? Total impunity Total impunity ito. Yung 6 years na presidente siya, total impunity. Ang daming, na biktima dun sa drug war niya, ang daming na biktima dun sa mga attack nila sa media, etc. And then ngayon, na hindi nga presidente, gaganin na naman nila yung successor nila, which by some twist of history, medyo maayos-ayos yung lumabas sa kanya. Medyo maayos-ayos. Again, yung mga, sorry to say it, mga idiots out there, who are like saying, oh, Richard, ngayon mabait ka na. Like, if BBM is doing something right on West Philippine Sea, why am I gonna deny that? Right? Hindi naman tayo hater. Kung tama yung ginawa niya sa West Philippine Sea, they're good. Right? Kung hindi siya, hindi siya nag-oversee ng bara-bara drug war, okay, they're good. Pero sinabi ko pa, sapat na yan. Hindi. Pakinggan nyo lang sinabi natin over the past 30-40 minutes. Sabi ko, hindi pwedeng travel lang na hindi backed up yan by industrial policy, infrastructure improvement, investment environment improvements, yung mga ganyan. Ayan naman tayo. Yan ang problema ng mga dyan, yung mga fanatiko dyan, or yung mga, alam mo na this, yung mga bayaran dyan, mga makapili dyan. Gusto lang nila ipakita na ang mundo ay dalawang panig lang. Ang panig nila, or yung kabila, at sila lang tama. When in fact, most of the time, sila lang yung mali, and then everyone else is actually sane and in this universe, and they just agree on some things and all. I agree with Bibi on some issue, I completely disagree with him on other issues. So, normal lang yan. Normal. That's how things work, guys. Anyway, going back to this, dito ko sinasabi I mean, yun ang article ko this week actually in Philippine Daily Inquiry. Ipopost ko, actually, hindi ko na-post. Dami natin ginagawa. Nagkakatana tayo, nag-Pikachu tayo, hindi ko nagawa, hindi ko na-post yan, guys. But let me share. Kasi for me, diba? For me, there has to be consequences. When you're challenging the authority of the state so directly, when you're, by some sane people's legal interpretation, inciting rebellion, right? And then there's no consequences, what are you gonna expect? So ito sinabi ni Digong kanina, yan na naman. Okay, tak-tak niya na papasyal-pasyal lang daw yung isa. But let's talk about this. Kasi speaking of pasyal, I'll tell you one thing. One thing that BBM is not doing, guys, is hindi siya natutulog sa mga ASEAN meetings. Hindi siya yung late parate sa mga ASEAN meetings. Hindi siya yung pupunta sa mga ASEAN meetings, international meetings at nagkakalat. Yun, for sure. In fairness, maayos yung mga speeches niya, maayos yung interventions niya, hindi siya natutulog, he's attentive, mukhang nag-exercise naman siya, he looks fit and good. Ayan na naman tayo. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Let's look at these things. Okay. Before tayo babalik kay Kibal, I'm just trying to find itong Digong na to. Saan yung sinasabi ni Digong pasyal. I just want to bring out the exact quote, guys. Bago natin ilabas. Ito. I mean, why do they allow this guy to just get away with this? I mean, he got away with so many things in that 6 years in office. Tapos ganun na naman siya ngayon. Aba, si Madam galing pa yung to the defense niya, talaga na. Kaya sasabihin na naman nila, Sasabihin na naman nila. Ay, nako, ayoko magsalita. Ito. Ba't nawala si Digong? Ayan. Okay, ito. At a rally against charter change. Okay. Ito naman, di ba, si Digong nagdrama-drama. Ito yung latest na sabi niya, pasyal-pasyal lang naman ito. At in-imply ni BBM is, ni Digong is BBM is trying to actually change the constitution para mapatagal yung kanyang termino sa office. Well, may nagsabi na dahil hindi lang nagawa ni Digong yan dati nung panahon niya dahil palpak siya, dahil hindi siya competent. Ngayon naiinis siya kay BBM. Again, having said that, actually I'm against mumbo jumbo PI charter change also. I am for constitutional amendments and all under certain conditions, even open to parliamentary, but under very strict conditions and scrutiny. But having said that, that doesn't mean I'm in the camp of Digong. Anyway,
Schedule ko, saan yung pasya?
napikon na si BBM mo. Sabi na ito.
Here's my schedule for...
Ito. Dito na lang para mas klaro, guys. Pasensya na. Pa na set up yung isa. I mean, that's the thing si Digong eh. I mean, you see what Digong is doing, guys, right? I mean, ang ginagawa niya is pitik-pitikin niya, so he'll use a substantive issue, and then pitik-piting niya, i-ridicule niya, imamak niya yung kalaban niya. Ganun ang ginagawa ni Digong ever since eh. Di ba?
Schedule ko, saan yung pasya? Here's my schedule for today. Where's the paseo? We don't pick pasyal. Even in the places that I know or I've spent a lot of time with, hindi...
Wait lang. Ang sabi na, we don't make pasyal. Talagang medyo konyotic din ang natin dyan ah. Mas konyo pa sa akin, we don't make pasyal in our lugar.
Here's my schedule for today.
Ayan, pakita ng schedule, nag-flex na.
Paseo. We don't pick pasyal. Even in the places that I know or I've spent a lot of time with, hindi ko napupuntahan yung mga dati kong pinupuntahan because we're here to do this.
We don't make pasyal eh.
Hindi naman, dineretsong sinagot ni Pangulo Marcos ang sinabi ni
Ay, wait.
Schedule ko, saan yung pasya?
Tas ito.
Administrasyon ng charter change.
Happy birthday. And many
Aba,
happy
malapit pa lang birthday ni Digong ah.
Para sa akin, hindi naman madali, pero nahihiwalay ko yung trabaho at saka yung...
Personalan. Okay. So BBM, inamin niya, hindi madali, pero try ko na essentially to keep professional. I think that's what is he meant to say. Pero may sinabi siyang funny actually kanina. May isa siyang sinabi na funny na nahulog yung Pikachu ko. May isa siyang sinabi na funny na yung mga ibang lugar dyan, napuntahan ko na dati and all, pero hindi ko na pinupuntahan ngayon. So medyo nadulas siya na nagta-travel siya dati dyan. So I don't know. Balikan na lang natin yan next time. Okay. Natanggal ito. Kaya isin mo. Okay. Wait. Gulan dito. Ito guys, napatagal tayo dahil sa technical issues. Speaking of Duterte, again, so, yung issue natin nung isang araw, nung nagsalita yung vice-presidente natin na officer in charge, di ba? In-invoke niya yung press freedom, in-invoke niya yung, hindi lang press freedom, in-invoke pa niya yung due process, justice, tapos my goodness, she even wanted to, bring in the religious discussion into it para lang to shut down any criticism of Kiboloy. And as I said, I have some serious issues with that kind of argumentation, di ba? Unless sigurado ka talaga holy itong tao na to, di ba? But anyway, and then of course we discussed about false prophets and all. But so if the other day parang may complete lack of self-consciousness or self-awareness ang dyan to discuss due process and justice and discuss like press freedom, considering what happened to press freedom nung panahon ni Digong, na ikaw, alam ko yun for a fact because I will just say something slightly na hindi positive, forget about negative kay Digong, grabing trolling na gagawin sa'yo, yung mga bayaran na vloggers, bayaran na mga walang yang dyan, and all sorts of intimidation that happened, and of course even worse in the case of some of our colleagues, Rappler, my goodness, yung mga lahat ng mga fake cases laban sa kanila, na nakikita naman natin na wala talagang basihan yung ginawa nila kay Leila de Lima but Leila's of course a senator, but you could see the whole climate and then what they did of course to ABS-CBN, right, the biggest media conglomerate in the country. Then the ABS-CBN is not the same anymore after that incident, diba? Totally iba na, diba? Totally iba na. So in that world, in that condition, diba? Uy, maayos ko pala to. Wait lang guys, maayos ko to si Pikachu na-conscious ako, nahulog kasi dito. Okay, lagay ko dito. Okay. Ito guys. it's quite rich for Digong to now talk about the issue of pasyal when, guys, remember, nung time na siya yung presidente, gaano ka-traveling man siya, except, yun nga, kung hindi nangyari yung pandemic, my goodness, baka mag-100 travels na yan throughout his time. Kasi, from what I remember, in the pre-pandemic era, naka-40 international visits pa siya or something along those lines. And importantly, 3 times yung expenses niya sa travel expenses niya dun sa mga predecessors niya. Ito, lalabas natin yan para maalala nyo Ito to. Duterte's foreign trips cost 3 times more than his predecessors. Now, of course, just to be fair, ang akin lang, dapat i-mention dito na dapat kasi ang calculation dyan is hindi yung total. Per visit. Dapat, kunyari, per visit, 10 million, 100 million, ganun. But the thing is, even if gagawin mo siyang per visit, ang laki pa rin yung delegations ng BBM. Ni Digong. Well, malaki din yung delegations ni BBM. I'm not defending that. I'm talking about delegations ni Digong. I'm just saying, bago ka mag-criticize kay BBM, siguraduhin mo meron kang matinong track record, di ba? O to speak of, di ba? Bago ka magmaganda dyan. Now, speaking of that, 3 times more. So, this article is June 2017. So, doon pa lang, obvious na di ba? Naalala mo guys, yung mga junket na issues nung time na yan, di ba? Yung mga junket issues na yan. Na ang laki-laki yung mga delegations ni Digong. So, the government spent at least 386 million pesos on foreign trips during Duterte's first year in power. First year pa lang niya, magpo 400 million pesos lang ginastos niya. In one trip, yung expenses niya was almost $636,000 a day. Right? Million a day. Diba? Dollar to, by the way, guys. Napaka-extravagant itong si Digong na yan nung nagta-travel sila dito. The report is here. Diba? Ito yung mga documents na they were obtained by media through the Freedom of Information System showed the government spent 386.2 million pesos or almost $8 million on Duterte's foreign trips, excluding the cost of his last 4 trips to Cambodia, Hong Kong, China, and Russia. Twice siya bumisita sa Russia, as if may nakuha tayo sa Russia. My goodness. Ano ulit na Wait. Twice siya nag-Russia. Ano nakuha natin ulit sa Russia? Did we get gas or oil from them? No. Any significant amount? No. Did we get any high-tech, valuable military equipment from them? No. Right? Any? And actually, buti nga wala Kasi kitang-kita natin, walang kwenta pala yung mga Russian armaments ng Soviet style laban dun sa mga NATO grade na ginamit ng Ukraine, di ba? Wasak sila dun. No much talaga sila dun. So, I just find that rich, di ba? I just find that very rich. Na, and if you look at Duterte, nakailang bisita siya nung time na, di ba? At ito pa yung funny si Coco Pimentel, nandyan pa rin. He tried to justify it to say na itong mga travels ni Digong ay justified. Hindi naman junket yan kasi daw may good returns. Good returns. Ito yung sinabi ni Coco Pimentel noong 2017. You have to remember what these people are saying para hold them account. Ano yung good returns? Ilan pong na-invest ng China sa Pilipinas nung panahon ni Digong? Ilan pong big infrastructure projects na pumasok sa Pilipinas panahon ni Digong? Nasaan na? So yun yung mga... Kaya nga sabi ko, wala akong problema kung mag-travel ka, but you justify it. You justify it by making sure there's a return. Yung kay Digong, junket na nga, laki-laki ng delegation, laki ng gastos. Wala naman Talagang So, that's what I'm saying. And unlike Duterte, BBM is actually going to very strategic countries. Did Digong ever go to Germany? Did he go to our US treaty ally? No. He didn't go to any of those countries. Tapos ilang beses siya nag-Russia. Anong nakuha niya sa Russia? Twice siya nag-Russia. Anong nakuha niya sa Russia? Right? So, yun yung sinasabi ko dito Tapos, to make it even more interesting, si Duterte sa ASEAN meetings, late siya, natutulog. Chismis nga, hindi nga chismis actually. Eto, BBC guys, BBC News. Yung mga major vloggers. Duterte skips ASEAN meetings for power naps. Guys, grabe naman. I mean, for someone na ganyan ang track record, na BBC level ka na, hindi pa yata na-interview yung isang major vlogger sa BBC, no? Bilang, pag in-interview mo yan, bilang propagandist or ano. Ito guys, na international, natutulog lang siya. This is BBC. Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte missed several meetings at the regional summit because he was taking, quote, power naps. Ayon sa kanyang spokesman. Hindi yata si Harry yan. Sabi naman niya, nung tinanong siya, nalala niya sinabi niya, what's wrong with my nap? Siya pang galit. Siya pa yung may reklamo. 'Di ba? Siya pang galit. Bakit? Anong problema kung natutulog ako? Di ba ka na pumunta? Kung matutulog ka lang, ba't ka pumunta doon? So, yun ang sinasabi nga, total lack of self-awareness. Or, well, there's a better way of putting it, but I'll just be nice and not say it. Ito guys, Duterte skip 6 out of 11 ASEAN events. 6 out of 11 ASEAN events, he skipped it. So, pumunta ka sa isang event, you're gonna miss lampas sa kalahatan ng total events. Pumunta ka ba doon? Di bakit ka pa gumastos doon? Bakit ka pumunta? Nagsayang ka ng pera, nagsayang ka ng oras, nagsayang ka ng lugar. Sinayang mo lang yung lugar. Di ba? Ito yung sinabi ni Panelo Last night, the president worked late and he had only less than 3 hours left. Grabe naman. Siyempre, napagod siya sa gabi kasi sa gabi lang siya nag-work ng midnight kasi tulog sa araw. It is unfortunate that the first event scheduled today was at 8:30 a.m. Wait. Parang kasalanan pa ba ng ASEAN na may event sila nung 9 a.m. and 8 a.m. Parang kayo pang mali na may meetings kayo ng 8:30 a.m. Ito quote kay Salvador Panelo. My goodness, those people. Diba? In those instances where he did not attend, meaning ASEAN-Australia Informal Breakfast Summit, the 20th ASEAN Republic of Korea Summit, 20th anniversary pa yan ng Republic of Korea, tsaka mahalaga pa yan. Launch hosted by Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, and the second Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Summit. Lahat yan na-skip niya, guys. He skipped those entire sets of meetings with Korea, with Australia, with Singapore, on Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Lahat niyan, tinulog lang yan. Alright? Kasi ito sabi ni Panelo, and he found it amusing that some quarters were making a big fuss of the president skipping these events. Wow! Tayo pang mali, guys. Tayo pa ang masama. Tayo pang mali. Diba? Tayo pang Wait lang, nagre-respond lang ako dito sa some news channels sa Europe. Okay, nag-respond lang ako, guys. Pasensya na, wala tayong secretary. So, you guys, I mean, I'm just telling you, someone has to remind these persons. Kaya mahina yung response ni BBM BBM cannot just come out and say, Sir, trabaho naman ako tignan mo naman yung schedule. No, wag kang defensive sa mga. Sir, sana naman, bago ka magsalita, siguraduhin mo na, hindi tayo natutulog sa mga events. Dapat ganun ang response. Diba? Or sana, yung mga, sino bang yung mga, ni BBM? Dapat silang sumasagot ng ganun. Bakit ako pa na vlogger ang sumasagot ng ganun? Now, having said that, sabi ko nga, BBM still has to justify yung mga ginagawa niyang travel na hindi lang Pero bago magsalita yung iba, sana naman, 'di ba? Sana naman ayusin niyo naman bago kayo magsalita diyan, 'di ba? Ayusin niyo 'yan. Nasiguraduhin nung tanong na nandun kayo sa power, hindi kayo nagja-junket lang. Worse than junket, tinutulugan niyo lang yung mga meetings na yan. Sinayang niyo lang taxpayers money, sinayang niyo lang yung dignidad ng ating bansa, yung place to reach out. Those events are supposed to be an opportunity. Hindi nga siya bumisita sa any major capital aside from Beijing. Sige na nga, itago na. Sige, sabihin natin Moscow na rin, sige. At least pumunta siya sa Tokyo, so I'll give that to Digong. Pero sana naman. Kaya please lang, yung mga nagka-comment yung popularity. Guys, governance is not about popularity na. Hindi ito popularity content. It's about competence. Tingnan mo yung approval rating ni Prime Minister ng Japan, si Kishida, wala pang 20%. So are you telling me that BBM is 4 times or 3 times more competent than the Japanese Prime Minister because his approval is 70%? Or telling me that Digong is 4 to 5 times more more competent than Kishida? No. Obviously not. Iba kasing standards ng mga leaders sa leadership ng Japan di ba? Or leadership sa Korea, or leadership sa Europe, di ba? So, yun lang sinasabi ko mga kameta. Yun lang sinasabi ko sa mga. Kaya, ang problema ko dito is, I don't think, yung style ng itong presidente natin na, just to say now, I'm doing my part, I don't think that's enough. There has to be a response. And there has to be consequences when you're directly questioning and challenging the whole credibility of and the authority of the state, and by some, as I said, surprise, you're attacking actually some good policies of the current president. All right, on that note, medyo maglolobat na itong laptop natin and all of that. I hope guys na-appreciate niyo itong discussion natin. Bukas mag-update tayo dito sa event, sa issue ni Kibuloy. Tignan natin kung ano mangyari dito sa arrest warrant na yan. But as I said, if you are in the Senate leadership, if you are in the government leadership, probably you're gonna wait na lang for BBM to come back, because this will be a big issue. This will be a big issue. So let's wait for that. All right. Thank you very much mga kameta. Kasama natin on TikTok, kasama natin on YouTube, kasama natin on Facebook. Please continue to support that. And yes, maghanap tayo ng oras to put things together hopefully, and to make sure na meron din tayong mga non-political content mga dyan on the sides, while ayusin ko pa yung mga lectures ko pa, yung mga graduates ko natin ituro natin. Thank you very much guys. God bless and talk to you soon. Maraming salamat guys. God bless. Thank you guys.